I need this. I'm thinking like kind of like Golden Road type. I don't really know exactly. How? Harpoon? Why a harpoon? The ground should be clouds? Well, I know what you mean, actually. The ground should be clouds, shouldn't it? But how the heck am I supposed to do that? Why is this so bright? This doesn't seem like it's gonna work. Like, the area needs to be a flat ground, you know? That seems heaven for inspo. What? See how it's just like completely flat right there? Like, I can make the walls clouds. Make the base ground part transparent. I see what you mean. That's vulnerable. I think we maybe just need to start with the clouds on this one, as weird as that is, and then kind of like figure it out. I think this will work though. I see the vision. Oh, I need to bring it closer too. This last thing before the game's ready for release. There's a couple things. Your game is so trash. Thank you. You send a link to yours?
Welcome to the Ultimate React Native Bootcamp. This isn't a tutorial where we build a to-do application and call it a day. By the end of this bootcamp, you'll have built 13 production level projects, from games to camera apps to full AI agents. And you'll have the skills to build literally anything in React Native. Hey, if you're new here, I'm Beto. I spent years building mobile applications at Walmart, then at Expo as a developer success engineer, where I helped thousands of engineers build production applications. Now I run Code with Beto full time, where I help developers master mobile development and ship real applications. We have some success stories, students who landed their first mobile dev role earning 6 figures, and others who are already making money from their applications on the stores. If you want to be part of that, I have a Discord community, a weekly newsletter, and a pro membership. All the links are in the description. Let's get into it. Here's how we're going to do it. We start from absolute zero with a React Native crash course, components, styling, navigation, state, everything you need to start building real applications. Now, before we start building, almost every real application needs authentication. And for that, we're using Clerk throughout this bootcamp. Clerk has been a long-term partner of this channel, and there's a reason for that. The developer experience is genuinely the best I've used for authentication in React Native. They recently released native UI components built specifically for Expo applications, so you can drop in beautiful production-ready sign-in and sign-up flows without building them from scratch. We're talking finally native Google sign-in for Android, Apple sign-in for iOS, email, all handled for you. You'll see Clerk in action in several of the apps we built throughout this bootcamp. So if you don't have an account yet, go ahead and create one. It's free to get started. Link in the description. All right, let's build. Then we jumped straight into our first project, a snake game, because the best way to learn is building something fun. You'll get comfortable with animations, game loops, and gesture handling. From there, we level up into data visualization with charts, the kind of UI that makes applications look professional and polished. Then we go deep on pixel perfect design with Expo, because great applications aren't just functional, they're beautiful. You'll learn to match any design on any screen size. Next, we get into one of my favorite topics, the camera, building a Snapchat clone. At that part, you're gonna learn everything you need to know about the camera API using Expo Camera. And then we push even further with an Obscura Pro camera clone using React Native Vision Camera. After that, we build a modern chat application, real-time messaging, conversations, the kind of feature that's almost in every application you use daily. Then comes our most ambitious build, a full Notion clone, rich text editing, nested pages, drag and drop, over 3 hours of building a complex real-world application from scratch. And then we enter the AI era. We start with voice to text, completely free. You're going to learn how to integrate it locally on the device using Whisper, an open source model. No API keys, no subscriptions. Then we built a talk to AI app where you have real conversations with artificial intelligence. Then we go all the way in and build our own AI agent from scratch. Almost 4 hours of pure cutting edge AI development. And then we enter the AI era. I'll show you how to use Claude Code to build React Native applications at an entirely different speed. AI-assisted development that will change the way you work. But first, you need to get the basics down. 13 projects, 22 hours, you'll go from zero to building applications most developers can't even imagine. So grab a coffee, clear your schedule, and let's get to work. Timestamps are in the description. Jump to any section you want. But if you're serious about mastering React Native, I would watch this front to back. Hi, I'm Beto, founder of Code with Beto and developer success engineer at Expo. Over the past few years, I've been helping thousands of developers from complete beginners to web coders take their first steps into mobile development with React Native. And now, with AI tools everywhere, we're seeing a new wave of vibe coders. People who can spin up an application with a prompt, but often hit a wall because they don't actually understand what the code does. So this video is here to fix that. I'll teach you how React Native really works, step by step in plain English. We're going to start from zero, no AI, no complex setup, just you and me and the fundamentals. By the end, you'll understand what React Native is, how it works under the hood, and you'll build your first mobile application from scratch using Expo. We're going to be creating a simple Pokédex app, but don't worry, this isn't just about Pokemon. It's about learning the core skills every React Native developer needs, like how to fetch data from an API, render a list of items, handle state, style components, and navigate between screens. The Pokédex is just our playground. The real goal is to help you think like a React Native developer. So whether you are a complete beginner or web developer who already knows React, or a vibe coder who wants to move beyond copy-paste AI code, this video is for you. You learn how mobile applications are built, why frameworks like React Native and Expo exist, and how JavaScript powers React Native performance. And if you enjoyed this and want to go deeper, learning how to publish your app, use push notifications, or handle advanced navigation patterns, check out my full React Native course at codewithbeto.dev. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. But for now, grab your phone, download Expo Go, and let's start from the very beginning. Just to reiterate, this video is for everyone who wants to get started in mobile development. If you already have experience with React and JavaScript, that's great, although that's not required to follow along with this video. As long as you can follow instructions, you should be able to complete this video and take it without any issues. The only thing you need is Expo Go in your phone and a computer. Now, before we dive into React Native, let's first understand how mobile applications are actually made. Every app you use, whether it's Instagram, Spotify, or your favorite game, runs on a mobile operating system. And there are really only two big companies that dominate the space: Apple and Google. Apple controls the iPhone and the iOS platform. Google controls Android, which runs in most non-Apple devices around the world. Together, these two companies basically shape the world we build for. Now, both Apple and Google have their own app stores. Apple has the App Store and Google has the Play Store. And here's something most beginners don't know. These companies actually want developers to publish more applications because that's how they make money. Every time you buy an application or make an in-app purchase, Apple or Google takes a cut, usually between 15 to 30%. And that's why they invest heavily in developer tools, new frameworks, and new features in their operating systems so developers can keep creating better apps that keep users engaged. So to make app developer easier, both companies, Apple and Google, have their own official frameworks. Apple offers SwiftUI for iOS applications. Google offers Jetpack Compose written in Kotlin for Android applications. And to be honest, these are incredible powerful tools, but they are completely separate ecosystems, meaning an app made for iOS won't automatically work on Android, and vice versa. You might have seen these symbols. On the left we have Swift, and on the right we have Kotlin. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, should I learn Swift or Kotlin? That's a very common question, especially for new developers who want to make their first mobile application. Another big question developers ask: if I want my application to work on both iOS and Android, should I build and maintain two separate applications? And in theory, you could, but that means writing everything twice. Two code bases, two sets of bugs, and two different release processes. It's expensive, time-consuming, and honestly kind of painful. So the answer is no. And that's the exact problem Meta, the company behind Facebook, ran into around 2013. They were maintaining two separate applications, one for iOS and one for Android. Every new feature had to be written twice, and every bug had to be fixed twice. It was slowing them down a lot, and engineers started wondering if there was a better way. So Meta engineers started asking themselves, what if we could use the web flexibility, things like JavaScript and React, but make it run inside a native application? That question led to the creation of React Native, a framework that combines the speed and flexibility of the web with the power and performance of native applications. And that's exactly what we're going to explore next. In 2015, Meta introduced React Native, and it completely changed how we build mobile apps. It combined React's component model, the one many web developers already knew, with the performance of native mobile apps. Suddenly, you could use one shared code base to build beautiful, fast, and responsive applications for both iOS and Android. And today, it's also possible to build for web, Mac, and Windows using React Native. And the best part, Meta didn't keep it all for themselves. They open sourced React Native, letting the entire developer community use it, improve it, and help it evolve into what it is today. Since then, companies all around the world, from small startups to giants like Shopify, Tesla, have built applications with React Native. But how does it actually work? What makes it possible for JavaScript to run on a native application? So at a high-level overview, a React Native application has two main sides: the JavaScript side, shown here in yellow, and the native side, shown here in blue. On the JavaScript side, you write your React components, your logic, your UI, using the same React and JavaScript you already know. But JavaScript alone can't talk directly to the phone's native system. Hit enter, and we get a result as well, which if I want my application to work on both components described, for example, render a button or show an image, and that gets translated to the specific platform native code. So the result is apps that look and perform just like your native applications, but powered by JavaScript. And because the JavaScript bundle is separate from the native code, you can even swap or update it on the fly. And that's what enables over-the-air updates. As long as the native part of your application is compatible with the Jest bundle, you can swap it. This flexible architecture is what made React Native revolutionary. It gave web developers access to native power and companies the ability to move faster than ever.
Scribe is how 4 million people turn processes into step-by-step guides. The hardest part
But as powerful as React Native is today, it doesn't include everything you need to ship a full application. So before we actually start using React Native, it's very important to understand what React Native itself actually provides and what it doesn't. React Native gives you the low-level APIs, things like native modules, debugger integration, and the bundler connection. You actually don't really need to touch these things when you are just starting, but they are the foundation of how React Native works. The challenge comes when you need to handle real-world application features like publishing, build management, over-the-air updates, navigation, routing, or access the sensors and things like the camera or push notifications. It's actually pretty overwhelming just to think about it. And React Native itself doesn't provide those out of the box. And realistically, 100% of the applications will need them. So developers are left to figure out all those integrations manually, unless we use a framework. And this isn't just my opinion, this is straight from Nicola Corti, who's part of the React Native core team. In his talk, Use Frameworks, he explains that the core teams focus on improving the low-level building blocks, while recommending that developers use React Native through a framework that provides the rest. Frameworks handle the boring stuff, so you can focus on building your application. And that brings us to Expo, the framework that gives React Native superpowers. So why Expo? Knowing the previous mentioned stuff about React Native and limitations, the answer becomes pretty clear. Expo is a full-stack framework that sits on top of React Native and provides everything you need for a smooth developer experience. It gives you a complete routing system with Expo Router, built-in support for over-the-air updates, native modules like camera, media libraries, sensors, notifications, you name it, and a whole ecosystem of tools that make React Native development simple and enjoyable. On top of that, Expo provides EAS, Expo Application Services, to handle builds, submissions, and updates for you. So you don't have to manage complicated native setup. And yes, Expo is open source, and it's the only framework officially recommended by Meta's React Native core team. I personally recommend Expo not because I work there, but because it just makes sense. You can inspect the code, use all the tools for free, and when your project grows, you can scale with Expo Application Services. The value you get from not reinventing the wheel is massive. So in short, Expo gives you everything React Native apps need, ready to go. And now I want to talk about a specific tool from Expo, which is Expo Go, because that's how we're going to be running our application in this video. When you're learning React Native with Expo, you'll probably hear about Expo Go. So what is it? If we go back to what we learned earlier, a React Native application has two parts, the JavaScript side and the JavaScript bundle, right? This yellow and blue. So whenever you change something in the native side, you need to rebuild the application, which can take a while. But when you change something in the JavaScript bundle, you can see those changes instantly. That's called hot refresh, and it's one of the reasons React Native is so enjoyable to work with. Expo takes that idea to the next level. It's a free application that you can download from the App Store and Google Play, and it acts as a sandbox environment. It already includes most of the Expo native modules like camera, contacts, media library, sensors, notifications, you name it, so you can start building without compiling anything. You just scan a QR code from your terminal and your JavaScript code runs instantly inside Expo Go on your phone. This means you can test your application in seconds without setting up Xcode or Android Studio. And when you are ready to publish or need a deeper native access, you can create a development build using Expo application services, or you can compile an application. We won't go into that in this video, but if you want to learn more about how to publish your application, check my React Native course at Code from the beginning, routing, all the way to publishing and uses. And I even added some bonus lessons like how to add an Apple widget to your app and how to upgrade your application. I also cover how to integrate Expo application services like build, submissions, updates, backend services, styling, components, you name it. I highly recommend that if you want to take the next step, check out my course. So for now, let's use Expo Go to develop fast, experiment freely, and see our application come to life right on your phone. Now you understand what Expo and Expo Go are, let's jump into coding and start building our first application. Before we can create our project, you're going to need to install something called Node.js. So if you just Google Node.js, should be the first result that you'll find. Node.js allows us to run JavaScript in our computer. So if you come here and just press get node, this is going to take you to this download page. So I recommend that you use the latest stable version, and you can know that it is the latest stable because it says LTS. And you can install it by running this command on your terminal, or if you want to keep things simple, just press this button depending on your machine. I'm using a Mac, so you can just download this and then double click it and install it. Okay. Now, if you don't know if you already have Node installed, you can open your terminal. So if you just search for terminal in your computer, it's going to pop up this application. It's called Terminal. If this is the first time that you are seeing it, don't worry, it's basically a window that allows you to run commands directly, to do things directly through this terminal. So for example, if you already have Node installed, you should be able to just type here node-v and hit enter. And this is going to return the version of Node that you are using. After installing Node, I would recommend, and I want to create my application inside my desktop, and I have this folder called apps. So what we can do here is right click on this folder and you'll find services at the very end. And then you can open a new terminal, add folder. Let's click this button. And this is basically going to open your terminal again. You can see that I'm in the apps folder, and this is because I want to create a project inside this folder. So I'm going to paste the command that we copied from Expo. npx create expo app add latest, and let's hit enter. Now this is asking me if I want to install the following package. I'm going to say yes. You can say yes just by pressing the Y key and hit enter. Okay, and now it is asking me what is my app name. So I'm going to call it Pokédex and hit enter. Now this is going to download a template provided by Expo with all the code we need to run our application for the first time and start developing. Now I'm going to bring in my phone. There it is, as you can see. I can control it and you can see it on screen. And as you notice as well, I already installed Expo Go. So you can just go to the App Store, search for Expo Go, should be the first result. And this is how it looks. We're gonna need it in a moment. Now, if I go back to my terminal, you can see that the project has been initiated, right? And now we can cd into the folder. Basically, cd is a terminal command that we can use to navigate to this specific folder. Actually, you can just copy this and paste it right here, hit enter. And as you notice, now we are inside the Pokédex folder. Now, before we can actually open this folder, we need an IDE, and I'm going to be using VS Code. In case you don't know what an IDE is, if you Google VS Code, it's going to be the first result, Visual Studio Code. It's an open source editor, code editor that you can use to edit your code. And I highly recommend that you use VS Code at least when you're getting started, because it's modern, open source, maintained by Microsoft. So it's the best of the best, and many engineers in the industry use VS Code. So just press the download button and then open VS Code. So I already searched for VS Code in my computer and open it. And this is how it looks when you open it for the first time. And you can see that we have some shortcuts. Like if I press Command O, by the way, I added my shortcuts. You can see them at the bottom right. I open the File Explorer, and from here I can go to the desktop inside my apps folder and select Pokédex and then press open. And this is going to open my project, my new Expo app. It's here. And on the left, I have the code that makes my application a React Native Expo app. This is a template that we created when we ran the command. So at this point, I'm going to run my application using ExpoGo. Let's open a terminal window. You can toggle a terminal by running this shortcut that you can see here, or you can also press Command J on Mac, and this will open the terminal. But if you're not able to open the terminal, you can always go to the toolbar and select New Terminal, and this is going to open a terminal for you. I'm going to close this one. I already have the other one. Now we are ready to run our application. The way we can run the application is by running a command here. I'm going to say npx expo start. This is going to start the server. Okay, and here it is. This is the QR code I was talking about. The server is running, and now we can scan this QR code to load the JavaScript part of this application into ExpoGo. So I'm going to bring my device. I'm going to open the camera, and let's scan this QR code. Open in ExpoGo. And notice that something is going to happen here. It says iOS bundled, meaning that we are now running our application in our device. You can see there on screen. So from here, I can use it. It comes with many things like tabs. It already comes with navigation and many cool stuff that it's actually pretty advanced for beginners like us. So what I want to do here, it's run a script to simplify this project. Now, by default, if you take a look on the left, the template comes with a script called reset project. Now I'm going to close the terminal. I'm going to be using the shortcut Command J to close it. Okay, and toggle it. That's super fast, so I'm going to be doing that. Now, if I press Command P, I can search for files. I'm going to search for a file very important when working with React Native applications. That is the package JSON. This is how it looks. And you can see that we have some scripts right away here. The template comes with something called reset project. We can run these scripts by telling the terminal to do that. So let's open the terminal. Now I'm going to stop the server by pressing Ctrl+C. Okay, this is going to stop the server. And we can always run clear to clear the terminal. And now let's run this command, reset project. You can copy this if you want. And in my terminal, I'm going to run npm run and then paste reset project. Hit enter. This is going to run the script, and it's basically asking me if I want to move the existing code into another folder. And I'm going to say no. Usually when you are interacting with your terminal, you always have these yes and no options. So I'm going to press N, hit enter. And this is going to simplify the code on the left. So if you take a look inside the app folder, this is where our application lives. It's now just a couple files, a layout and an index file. Okay, so let's start the server again. Let's say npx expo start, or you can also use npm. Once you install Node, you get access to npm. I have Node. I can say npm has the script that you want to run. In this case, start. So if I hit enter, this is going to start the server. Okay. Now let's go back to my phone. I can shake my phone, and this should bring the developer tools that live inside Expo Go. And you can do many things here, like reload, which is what I want to do at the moment because I restarted the server. So I'm going to press reload. Okay, and now the app has changed. Now we only have live mode at this moment. And yeah, nothing else, just a text, which is what we wanted, right? You can always shake again the device to bring the DevTools. You can press go to start working on the JavaScript code here in our project. Now, let's inspect the application. Most of the code and logic that live inside the app folder. And in the app folder, application that lives in this layout. This layout is defining a stack of screens, basically, right? And in this stack of screens, this actually comes from Expo Router, which is the official Expo routing system. And this allows us to navigate between screens and define stack screens. Like in this case, we are defining a stack, but at this time, we only have this self-closing tag. We don't have any, which means that if we don't define, use this index file as the entry point of our application. So if I click on